Right then boys, so today I've got my old clothes on and you might be able to tell already what that means. We're going to be doing a bit of painting. I've taken all the grilles, like the rear honeycomb, fog surrounds, all off the car. I'll show you quickly now. So as you can see, I've taken off the rear reflectors, I've taken off the rear honeycomb. They're all being painted. Now on the front, I've taken off the main front grille and the fog surrounds. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a bit of painting in the garden. Hopefully it all goes well. I've spent all morning and quite a bit of time yesterday sanding down all the bits. So hopefully I get a good finished product. But what's going on with this light? There you go. But yeah, I'm going to go start painting now. Hopefully it comes out nicely. Right then boys, this is the workstation. Now it looks a fucking tip at the moment, but I've been sanding stuff down all yesterday. So we've got the fog surrounds, we've got the little rings that go inside the fog surrounds, got the rear reflectors, they've been taken out. We got the inside vent rings, they've been sanded, they've still got a bit of red on, but they're going to have to sand down like a lot to get rid of that. So I've sanded them down enough. I'm going to primer and paint them. Haven't actually got the purple paint yet, but we're still waiting on that to come. Sanded a few bits down. These are the inside bits of the vent. I wanted to spray these gloss black, and also these tiny little things here are in the centre of the vent. It's difficult to explain, but I don't know if you can picture it now, but these are the tiny little bits in the centre of the vent. I was going to paint these either gloss black or purple. These are just around the inside. I was going to paint them gloss black, and then obviously the vent rings, they were going to be purple. We've got a few things to paint today. We're painting this gloss black. This is the rear honeycomb on the rear bumper. I might try and paint these crisscrosses in a purple. I think that would look pretty cool with these kind of square diamond bits at the back gloss black. Might be difficult to do, I'm not sure just yet. I've got no idea what I'm doing with this. This is from the front bumper. The grille I haven't sanded down, this I haven't sanded down, and I got very disappointed the other week, or a few days ago actually, sorry. My TRC front splitter, yeah, I went up a small ramp, and obviously I'm not used to the low life at the moment, so kind of caught that and it just fucking snapped. So yeah, a bit disappointed about that. So I'm gonna have to try and fix it, see how well it goes, but don't know what's gonna happen. Also went to Halfords, treated myself, got a proper trolley jack. That's a low line or a low access one. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but I bought that one. Also bought some new axle stands. So this is kind of the workstation. It's fucking messy at the moment, but we're going to get ready and do some painting today. Hopefully it all goes well. So let's actually get to it. Right, so we are in the bright sunlight here, so it is a bit bright. First of all, it was a bit of a nightmare to get rid of all the paint out of all these bits. I had to literally scrape it with with just a normal cutlery knife, to literally just scrape off all the paint, because it was stuck. Like half of the paint was just flaking off, easy to get off, but half of it was a nightmare to actually get off. And obviously to paint it properly and get a good finish, you want to get rid of all the paint first. So I have scratched it up a little bit. So I'm going to be going in with some filler primer first, sand it down a few times, get a nice smooth finish, and then we'll be going in with normal primer, then with a gloss black, and then obviously a clear coat over the top. But we got the rear reflectors to do. As you can see, there's still black bits in there, but that's where the reflector actually sits in, so we don't need to bother about them black bits there. Got the rear honeycomb to go to do some filling, because that's a little bit scratched up, and we got the fog surrounds over there which need the same done as well. So I think we're going to start off with the rear reflector bits here first, and we're just going to put a few coats of filler primer on all three of these bits and then see how they come out. Just kind of a thin layer first, see how that goes, and we might give it a second coat a bit thicker and then start to sand it back a bit. Going in with a second coat. I'll probably do this one a little bit thicker, then we'll probably start sanding it down a little bit. So I've sanded them down. It even just took like really light sanding and they are now like perfectly smooth, so I'm really happy with that filler primer. It's done a really good job. Just got to wait for it to dry now, but these are like perfectly smooth, and the small kind of divots in there, they're gone. It's just perfectly smooth now, so it's going to make a really good surface for painting. So I just got to wait for that to dry and then we can start painting them. Just going to go with a quick second coat of primer for these rear reflectors, and then these will be ready for a very light sand down with like 800 grit sandpaper, then for the first coat of paint on there. Right, so we've got the inside of the vent rings now. I'm just going to give them a coat of primer. I'm going to be doing these gloss black, and I might be doing these little centre bits purple, but I'm not entirely sure just yet. But I'm going to go with the first coat of primer. Alright, so we're just going to go in with the first coat of black paint for these rear reflectors. Just want a nice thin coat first of all. That'll do for the first coat. Right, we're just going to go in with the second coat of gloss black now. This first coat's been drying for quite a while, so should be alright for the second coat. And that coat was a little bit thicker as well. Right, so it's the first coat for the rear honeycomb. You only want a light first coat. Alright, little update. I've given everything a couple of coats of black gloss. These rear reflectors are looking pretty neat. Don't worry about all this bit in here. This is where the reflector sits, so none of that will be on show anyway. It's just this side which is like what you'll see. These are the insides of the dash vents. They're looking pretty nice. There's the tiny little centre bits of the dash. They just got primer on at the moment. They need to be painted, but I'm not entirely sure what colour just yet. Then this here is the rear honeycomb. That's looking nice and glossy. Needs probably a couple more coats on that. And then these are the fog surrounds, and these are actually looking super glossy. But yeah, really happy with how everything's looking at the moment, and hopefully it carries on going really good. Right, so they've all had a few coats of the gloss black now, and they are all ready to have a bit of clear lacquer put on them. I've just started doing the fog rings as well. They're just primed up. I'm still waiting on the purple paint to arrive. They're going to be purple. These need a bit of lacquer on them, and then we'll be all sweet. Just painting these tiny little centre vent bits. Only doing it with a paintbrush because I've got the most awesome paint, but it's in a can and it looks sick. Can't really see it that well. But yeah, these are going to need quite a few coats, I reckon. And we're just painting these old red disgusting rings. Right then guys, so I know I look a bit shit, it's the next day. I'm pretty knackered, to be honest. I feel like shit. I was on the early shifts at work, so I've been up since 4:30 and it's now kind of getting late evening. But we're going to do a little bit more painting today. Just chucked on the old clothes again. But with the rear reflectors, sorry, the actual red part of the reflector, I took them apart because you could see quite a bit of mud and dirt around the outsides of them. So I took them apart, got rid of all the mud, and I'm actually going to repaint the backing of the reflector part. It's a plastic part, and then the reflector sits on top of it, and it's just a very faded red. And I'm thinking that if it gets a respray so it goes bright red again, the reflector might look a lot more red. It might be worth a go, it might not. It's only going to take a few minutes, so I'll give it a go. I'll show you guys as well. I just want to make everything look perfect, to like all the little bits that I'm doing. I just want everything perfect, so I'm going to give it a quick go and see how it goes. Right, so here's the reflectors that I've actually taken apart. Now, they fit on there like that. These are actually quite see-through, so you can see my fingers through there. And my thought process is that these are very faded. Now I'm thinking if these are bright red again, I'm thinking that the reflectors will look a lot better. But that's my thought process. We're going to give it a little go anyway. Here's the vent rings that I painted gloss black. They're looking sick. They're all dry and sweet. Here's also the reflector sort of casing bits. They're all done. They look sweet as well. Purple paint arrived. I'm not entirely sure about that colour. I'm going to give it a go, see how it turns out, but I might be using that paint which I've actually got upstairs, which I've got to use a brush for. So it's a bit like, do I use it or do I not, because I might not get the best finish. But and then this is the red paint that I'm just going to repaint these with. So I just need to grab a different camera battery because this one's pretty much dead, and then we'll get to it. Right, I haven't got too much red paint left, but they're only going to need like 1 or 2 coats. But this like shit box, it got a bit wet last night because it absolutely chucked it down. But we're just going to go in with a couple of coats of this Ford Sunburst Red. So give it a go, see what it comes out. Let that dry quickly. Just going to go in with a bit of a thicker second coat, and that should do it for these. They don't need to be perfect, I just want them showing a bit more red through the see-through reflector bit. A nice thick second coat, that should do it. Right boys, this is the purple that I got. I ordered this online. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be the right purple that I want. If it's not, I'm just going to have to resand these down, paint over it, and try and find a different purple to use. But I'm going to give this a go first. These are the fog rings, so I'm going to give these a few coats. I reckon to get the colour that I want to achieve, I might need to do 3 or 4 coats, as I'm hoping it'll get a bit deeper colour the more coats it gets. But we're just going to have to see what happens, and I'm going to give it the first coat now. Yeah, not really a fan of that at the moment. Just doesn't look vibrant enough. It's a bit of a dull purple. I don't know how well you can actually see the colour on camera, but it just looks a little bit too dull. But I'm hoping with a few more coats it might get a bit more vibrant. So I've just taken the sides of the boxes down just so I can get better access to the sides of these. But we're going to go in with the second coat now, see how this turns out. I really don't think I'm going to get the colour I want to achieve with these. It's just not a dark enough purple for me. It doesn't actually look too bad on camera, but in real life they're not vibrant enough. They're just kind of a dull purple and it's not the colour that I want. That's a bit annoying. So I might have to use the paint upstairs, which is in that pot, but it's just going to be annoying with the obviously I've got to do it with a paintbrush, and I just might not get the finish that I want, obviously, because you've got to brush it on. These have now dried, so all I'm going to do is push these back on. And they do actually look quite a lot better, whereas beforehand this didn't look as kind of a deep red, but there was all kind of black, just rubbish and dirt and mud all around the outsides of this. But I took these apart, cleaned them all inside, resprayed them, and now they're looking a lot better. What I did have to do is just get a sharp knife and just wedge it between here and then pull that off. But yeah, they look much better. And I'll pop them back in here. Oh, that looks much better. There we go, that one's all clipped in as well. Now that looks so much better. Proper gloss black finish on here and a really vibrant red. In the future I will want to actually tint these with a spray just to make them look a little bit smoked out and a little bit darker, but I'm really happy with how these have turned out. So they're ready to go back on the car, and I can actually start getting the car looking a bit better again, because I've just been driving around with all the bits missing from the bumpers. Right then boys, so you join us in the bedroom. Now I've moved it all inside because it's just a bit chilly outside and it's just a bit easier inside. We're in the bedroom, as you might be able to hear and see. We got kittens down here and we got the other two just down here. Brighten it up. Hello. Hey. This one's my favourite, Roxy. Oh, look at you. Hello. Hey. But yeah, we're in the bedroom today, doing this on the bed. I know you might think it's a bit stupid, but I've got a big roll of wallpaper, which is what I use to do my soldering bits on with all my LED bits. So yeah, these look really good. Obviously you won't be able to see these red bits, but it's just the main ring around it. There are a few tiny little marks in it, but I'm sure they'll go when I use like clear lacquer over the top of it. But what I did do with these vents, I've actually taken them out my car. These are the little inside rings that I painted gloss black, but in here they have this kind of honeycomb sort of thing. I'm thinking if I take out these kind of flaps here, I might paint these purple as well. So obviously when you've got these vents open, you'll be able to see a purple honeycomb. I think that will look pretty sick, so we're going to give that a go as well. I'm thinking of painting this, the whole rear honeycomb grille bit. We've got these to repaint, the fog surround bits, because that purple is atrocious. It looks disgusting. That was that paint that I bought the other day, but that's rubbish. so we're going to be repainting them as well. Going to try and keep it as tidy as I can, because obviously we're inside doing it on the bed. Luckily I stripped the bed as well, so it hasn't got a cover on it, so we're okay. Still not the best, but it's okay if we get a little bit on the bed, whatever. But yeah, we're just going to go ahead, start doing some of these parts and see how we get on. Just before we crack on, I thought I'd show you the vent kind of design. So as you can see, the inside ring is gloss black. Now I think that looks pretty sick. And then we've got the purple bit in the middle, and then we've got the outer purple ring. Now what I was also going to do is paint this honeycomb inside purple as well. I think that will just top it off for the vents. I'm really happy with how these have turned out so far. They just need a clear coat on top. These kittens are making a racket, they're doing my head in. But yeah, let's just crack on now, boys. Just look at that paint. Looks sick. These freaking kittens, mate, you're doing my head in. What are you doing? Shut up. Right boys, I've given the fog rings their first coat. Now I just painted this on with the brush. I know I'm probably not going to get the best finish. Again, I'm going to do a few coats, but I'm hoping when I put the clear lacquer on over the top that it will cover any brush strokes or impurities. But I don't know if you can see, but just down here there are just a couple of tiny little dimples and little marks where it's been brushed on, and especially on that left hand side there. I really don't think you're going to notice it when it's on the car. You've got to literally be within centimetres of seeing it, but I'm much happier with that colour which is on them now. But we're going to give them a few coats, and then they're going to need a clear coat over the top of it as well. Right, so as you can see, I've masked this one up. I've actually already painted the other one. I masked it up earlier and just painted it. But this one, I thought I'd show you, that's it masked up. I'm just going to carefully paint just in these grooves. But yeah, as you can see, it's nice and purple in there now. I just love this colour so much. It's just a shame that I couldn't find a paint like this which was a spray version, and I've just got it in a can here, so got to do it the brush way. But I'll leave that to dry and see. It might need 2 coats, might need 3 coats, but then after that we'll just put clear lacquer over the whole thing and then they'll be sorted. Right boys, so it is the day after and we've given these all another couple of coats, and right, so it's the next day. We've given everything another couple of coats. Just going to wait for everything to dry now properly, and then we're going to be putting clear coats on it, and then it'll be complete. So here are the little purple little lines in the fog surrounds. They're looking pretty sweet. And then we've got the fog rings down here. They're looking good. Then we've got the vent rings. They're also looking good. Got the tiny little middle bits for the vent rings. They're also good. Then also coming over here, what I decided to do is paint the inside of the vents the purple colour as well. So when I like open the vent to like fan air at myself or just fan it about the car, you're going to see these purple kind of honeycomb mesh things, and they look sick. I'm just hoping you'll be able to actually see them in the car when the vents are all made up again, but these look absolutely sick, and I'm so like looking forward to putting all this back together because these look sick. But yeah, we're going to wait for it all to dry, put clear coats over everything, and then we'll be done. Right then boys, so skip say quite a few steps. I thought you'd seen enough of me painting. All that really needed to happen was mainly putting clear coats on the top of different parts. The purple paint came out really well. I just did have a slight problem where when I put the clear lacquer on some of the purple bits that I painted, it kind of reacted with the paint, and it was like the purple paint didn't really like the clear lacquer. It came up and it started to like ripple the paint. It's not too noticeable, but you can see it if you really do look. But that's only on a few parts, so it's not too bad. But I've got all the parts that I need to put back on the car just outside in the front garden. So we're going to put them back on the car now, and I'm super excited for it because I've been driving around with like none of the parts of my car for literally like a week now. I've been so busy this week. I've had a wedding that I was a photographer for. That was my girlfriend's mum. It was her wedding. That was a really good night. But I've just been doing so many other bits as well, and obviously painting, it's not the quickest process. You got to primer, paint, leave it to dry properly, then clear coat, and I've just not really had a lot of time. So finally I've finished it all, gonna go put it back on the car, and I'm super excited. So let's go and do it now. It's a bit of a muggy day today, it has been raining, but here are the parts. I've got the rear honeycomb, I've got the front grilles, I've got the vent rings. Now what I was talking about earlier with that purple paint, you can kind of just see it around the edges. It's not too noticeable, but you can see it. I've got the rear reflectors, they look really nice and red. I think that was from when I painted them, like the backing like red again, but they look sweet. And then my favourite part are these fog surrounds. They look sweet, especially with the 3 stripes on each side of the purple. They look sweet. So I'm really looking forward to getting all of this back on the car. So we're going to go and do it now, and I'm so looking forward to how the finished look is going to come out. Right then boys, we're going to start on the back of the car, and we just got these 3 parts here. That looks much better already, so much better. Now we're going to move on to the front. I absolutely love that. That looks sick. Matches the sun strip well. Looks a bit meaner. So now all we got left are these bad boys. Right, so I made the vents up because they was all in pieces. Thought you didn't really need to see that because this video is going to be quite long. So I've popped them all back in and I'm loving it. They look sick, and especially because it's exactly the same paint as the ones I used on the outside, so they match the outside too. As you can see on this one slightly, the actual ring itself on the bottom there has got a little bit of kind of, yeah, just on the bottom there they've got a little bit of kind of rippling on the paint, and that was just after I'd done the clear lacquer. It wasn't how I applied the clear lacquer because everything else came out alright, like the black paint. It was just a few of these purple bits, like on this one as well. You can see on the left hand side there that there's a bit of rippling, but I love these. And also with these, this looks sick. I don't know if you'll actually be able to see, let me just turn the brightness up. There you go, just inside there is purple as well, and I think that looks sick. Like, I can see that quite easily, but obviously on the camera it's not as easy to see. But I love it, it's sick. I kind of like the black outline as well. I think that gives it a bit of contrast, and that looks pretty sick. But yeah, that's all the bits on the car. I've been driving around for like a week now with all these bits off my car, like massive gaps in the vents, like fog surrounds. The main front grille was off, and it was kind of a bit embarrassing, but it's now all finally sorted. It's all back on the car. The car looks sweet again now, like I love it. It looks so sick. I'm just adding this purple little and often, and eventually I'm gonna have a full nice purple theme. Obviously I've got these blue leather seats, just because they match purple a bit better than the red. I wasn't really a fan of the red, always wanted the blue. That's why I got the blue seats. But I will be changing all of my interior switches, like these, because I do all that for other people as well. So if you're interested in that, I'll put a little clip in here of just a sample of what I've done. But I do them all different colours, all the switches inside, the window switches, the headlight switch, the heated screens, and obviously the passenger window switch as well. I do all them different colours, I will probably be doing them purple soon, or blue to match the seats. I'm not too sure just yet, but I'll be doing them soon. But I'm going to end the video here, so thank you so much for watching. Sorry, I think it's going to be a very long one, probably, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. Hoping it's going to be a long one, but hope I didn't bore you too much. But thank you for watching, guys, and if you like it, like, comment, subscribe, whatever. Ask me a few questions, whatever. Please subscribe. I am growing pretty quickly now, and I'm so thankful for everyone who's subscribed. But I'm going to end the video here. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.